Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this dotacommentaries.com presentation. I'm your host, LD, and today we're casting Duskbin versus AEON for the Pro Dota 2 World League Asian region. Duskbin and AEON just played their first best out of one. The format for the tournament is a round robin, and then there's 2 rounds to that round robin. So each team plays every other team once, then they do it all over again. So Duskbin and AEON are getting both of their matches out of the way here today. AEON, spoiler alert, if you don't want to know the result of that previous match, go watch it now. They took that first game in a very convincing fashion over Duskbin, so they are, in a sense, leading the series 1-0. Although, again, it's not a series. These are 2 separate matches for that tournament. Duskbin immediately banning off the Prophet as well as the Enchantress. Duskbin also has the first pick. This time they will be on the Radiant side. I want to mention Lycant is in the pool, and Duskbin has the first pick. And they choose to ban him out. So AEON left him in the pool and snagged him with their first pick. But Duskbin, hey, if you've watched them before, if you've watched Mineski, if you've watched most Pinoy teams before, they don't want to push, they want to gank. And Lycan, he can gank, but he's more effective and generally played as a pusher. So Duskbin, showing that they don't value him enough to first pick him, will be banning him out. Queen of Pain is available, and that hero got the ban last time from AEON. So the question is, will they ban it again? Instead, it's going to be a Darkseer that leaves Queen of Pain in the pool. Is it worth a first pick? I've seen Duskbin first pick I've seen Duskbin first pick Earthshaker in this situation before. I would not be surprised at all to see it there. Windrunner available as well. A lot of different ways they could go. You might notice a lot of the heroes I'm mentioning are really more sort of gankers and team fighters. That's because that's how Duskbin likes to play. They're not as much into the whole pushing thing. Indeed, it will be a first pick Queen of Pain, one of their signature heroes. I believe it's Ninja Boogie who plays that. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's the one who does. AEON, with the reply here, let's see who they go for. There's still a lot of great heroes in the pool. If we just take a look at, well, what junglers are left in the game right now, because they really like to play with that early push, and generally junglers are the best pushers, or some of the best. Death Prophet, they ran that last game, that's available. Enigma is available, and I would not be surprised at all to see an Enigma pick up here. Death Prophet and Enigma gives you instantly a ton of pushing power and a ton of team fight. Leshrac available as well. I think these 3 heroes, we'll see at least 1 or 2 of them picked up now, and Leshrac is the first pick. It fits in with how AEON likes to play. They want to get early towers. They feel more comfortable with that early advantage. They're very, for a Southeast Asian team, if you haven't watched Southeast Asia, generally the games tend to be a little bit more action heavy, gank oriented compared to Europe or China or even North America, where yes, you'll see kills here and there and sometimes even a lot of kills in a particular game, but generally the teams and the games are much more focused on pushing down early towers. AEON is more in that sense like their Western Hemisphere counterparts and like their Chinese counterparts than some other teams in the Southeast Asian region. They can play gank. I mean, we saw last game that Sankey got a bunch of kills. But they're not going to just focus on getting kills exclusively. They're going to try and secure early towers, get core items up on heroes that need it, and use those items to turn into kills, to turn into Roshan. Whereas Duskbin, it's all about the kills, baby, from start to finish. They pick up a Crystal Maiden and an antimage. A very mobile hero and a fantastic support. So I say they like to go gank, and then they pick up an anti-mage. And the question is, will it be a farming anti-mage? Will it be a little bit more of an early game anti-mage? We've certainly seen Navi and other teams in the past go for a quick Vlad's, and as well as Vanguard on anti-mage and push and not a farm all game. We've also seen, other teams go for Hannah Midas, Battle Fury, try and farm for 20 minutes. It's going to be tough if AEON goes all in with the push to run a farming anti-mage. If he has a bad start, he will absolutely get murdered. On the flip side, if he has a good start, well, hey, leshrac is food, Earthshaker is food.
Reserve time.
We'll have to see how the early game progresses. It will be very important for Duskbin, as it was last game. As Queen of Pain, fantastic once she gets some levels, but in those first 2, 3, 4 levels of the game, not going to be the most effective hero. She's very level dependent, not going to be doing too much until she maxes out her Scream, gets some points into Blink, gets the ultimate leveled up. Ideally, you want to hit around level 11 with Queen of Pain, and that's really when you start to peak. Anti-Mage, of course, I mean, you really want to hit level 16 if you can. But at the very least, you want to get the Spell Shield as well as the Mana Void maxed out as quickly as possible. Unless you're burning. In that case, you want to get 20 points of stats as quickly as possible. Windrunner gets the pickup here. So AEON, a lot of nukes, really a lot of anti-push and gank. For AEON, this lineup has the potential to be aggressive. They can push down towers with the leshrac. They can control lanes well with the earthshaker and the windrunner. If you want to lock down an anti-mage, I mean, this is the way to do it, right? You have Split Earth, you have Fissure,
Radiant
you have
team
Shackle
ban.
Shot, you have Enchant Totem and Echo Slam. A lot
Dire
of ways to
team
disable
ban.
him. It's enough nuke damage that even with Spell Shield, anti-mage will flat out die if he eats too many of them early on. On the flip side, these are all fairly squishy heroes. They're all fairly level and farm dependent, especially the leshrac and the windrunner. So AEON, their lanes will be the main area where they have to excel in, because if they get that early farm up, they can turn it into towers, they can turn it into kills. On the flip side for Duskbin, the name of the game is holding on to towers, giving the anti-mage space to farm, and there's going to be a lot of pressure on the Queen of Pain to provide that space. Sand King gets the ban, as well as an Enigma and an
10
Obsidian
seconds
Destroyer. I think
remaining.
the Enigma ban, extremely smart here, as well as the
5
Obsidian.
seconds remaining.
One hero that has not been picked up in either of these games yet is Shadow Demon, and in this game, I'm
Reserve time.
frankly shocked. Duskbin, they have the next pick coming out of this banning stage, and if I were them, I'd be planning on picking that, because you do not want to give away a Shadow Demon when you have Anti-Mage. Of course, you can. If Anti-Mage
Radiant
ever tries to
team
jump on
pick.
anyone, you can either disrupt that person, or better yet, disrupt the Anti-Mage. Get 2 Anti-Mages of your own back for up to 8 seconds, and they'll be mana burning and doing a bunch of damage to your team. Of course, the Purge is very strong versus a melee hero to sort of slow him down. Set gives you a nice setup spell with the disruption. Now, they don't really have any stuns to set up at this point, but they could go with one for their 5th pick. I love the Enigma
10
ban, though, in
seconds
particular,
remaining.
because AEON right now does
5
not have that
seconds
jungler that they
remaining.
like to run. They don't really have amazing push, and that is what AEON tends to do. They want to get early towers, as I've been
Reserve
saying,
time.
and hey, Enigma is a great hero to do that. It also frees up your lanes, and I talked about the level and farm dependency of 2 of AEON's heroes so far. And Enigma is going to create space for them to get those levels on farm, because he can be in the jungle. Obsidian Destroyer, another smart ban by Duskbin. Not something you see banned too often, although in the Dota 1 scene, this is a very common ban in Southeast Asia, especially if you go for the Obsidian. The reason for it is that Obsidian Destroyer is one of the strongest, if not the strongest, solo lane heroes. He's up there with Invoker, Shadow Demon, a top tier solo hero. He can dominate his lane, and when it comes to the mid to late game, he can hold his own against Anti-Mage. If he goes for BKB, which he often does, Anti-Mage's mana burn will not affect him at all. His orb will absolutely rip through Anti-Mage because it does pure damage, which ignores Spell Shield. And of course, his ult will hit pretty hard because, hey, Anti-Mage is not going to have high intelligence. Obsidian Destroyer is one of the few heroes that can outcarry an Anti-Mage late game. If he gets a Hex up quickly, then Anti-Mage will be very squishy. And Duskbin goes with a Lion. Wow, definitely did not see that one coming, but it fits in with their playstyle. It is an aggressive hero. It gives you great setup, a great ganking hero. It gives them some burst damage. So the burst damage, frankly, for Duskbin right now, pretty terrifying. Finger of Death, Queen of Pain Ultimate, as well as the Scream, as well as the Shadow Strike. Crystal Maiden, a lot of people think she's just picked up for her aura. That is not the case at all. Her nukes both hit
10
extremely
seconds
hard. They do a
remaining.
ton of damage. Anybody on AEON's lineup can absolutely be burst down.
5
Once
seconds
Duskbin hits around
remaining.
level 6 or so on those 3 core nukers, everyone on AEON, if they're out of position, they will pay. Shadow Demon sits around in the
Radiant
pool for a
team
very long
pick.
time and finally gets picked up. A great counter to the Anti-Mage, a great setup for the leshrac. One of the downsides to leshrac as a hero is that his stun is very hard to land. And one of the best ways to mitigate that downside is to have a hero set him up. And there's really no better hero for setting up a difficult to land stun like that than leshrac. Or excuse me, than Shadow Demon.
10
Of course, you also have
seconds
the Earthshaker,
remaining.
you also have Shackle Shot. This is a pretty scary early
5
game ganking
seconds
combo from
remaining.
AEON. I guess my only question is, who are they going to go with to complete the lineup?
Dire
Oh
team
boy, and Tidy comes out. Duskbin bringing out the big guns here. That is a lot of burst damage. And AEON, how will they respond? I noticed Morphling is still in the pool. And I know they've run that hero before. It did not work. I know Duskbin runs it as well from time to time. Morphling would fit in nicely this game because you already have the Shadow Demon on your side.
10
And you can
seconds
replicate the
remaining.
Anti-Mage, get a mana burning Anti-Mage of your own. You can also disrupt him. Suddenly you have
5
3
seconds
Anti-Mages on your
remaining.
side. At best, Anti-Mage can only match that if he gets up a Manta. Of course, those
Reserve time.
Shadow Demon disruption illusions don't last forever, but it's enough to scare off the Anti-Mage. I am really taking their time here. If they want to go for push, Syllabear is available as well. And as far as a carry that can push and can handle an anti-mage in the later stages of the game, Syllabear is about as good as it gets. So AEON is really taking their time here, thinking over this last pick. Let's talk about how Duskbin is going to lane it. I'm guessing we're going to see a Quap in the off lane, possibly a dual lane mid, maybe an anti-mage Crystal Maiden, and then something like a Lion Tiny dual lane with the Lion playing support. We could also see those two dual lane swap. That would be my guess. I say that, and it's not my point is for Duskbin, we're probably going to see two dual lanes here, as well as a solo Quap. I doubt we're going to see a tri lane. We could, and Riki gets the pick. Riki has not, for some reason, he just hasn't been picked much recently, even when Anti-Mage is picked. But hey, there's another great way to counter the Anti-Mage. Of course, that Cloud is going to render Anti-Mage unable to blink. Diffuse a Blade, you can Mana Burn him away and prevent him from getting out. Another great initiator. And yes, Riki is an initiator because he can blink in, immediately drop a Cloud, and suddenly your opponents can do nothing but run. There's a couple ways to deal with that Cloud. Force Staff is one, Ghost Scepter is another, and BKB is a third. Those are the primary ways. You can also get a Yule Scepter, throw yourself up in the air. But there's one thing that all of these have in common, and that's that they cost money. So, Duskbin has no natural way to counter that Smoke Cloud without buying items. We'll talk a little bit more about how the heroes and the teams are going to match up, but first let's introduce the players here. Nuts will be playing that Shadow Demon. Looks like he's already bought the Curry, and it will be a support Shadow Demon. Mr. Keo on that Windrunner. Looks like he'll be soloing. The King probably going to be going mid from the looks of it. I guess it's going to be a quick bottle rush for him. Ken playing that Riki Martin, or that Riki as he's also known. It looks like he was pooled a set of tangos, as well as a healing salve. So that's going to be a great start for him, with the Poor Man Shield already completed, going to be very difficult to harass. And finally, I didn't actually introduce him, Sawaman, I believe this might be a stand-in, is playing that Earthshaker. Will be a support Earthshaker. Ninja Boogie likewise was pulled tangos and a healing salve. I'm not going to have a chance to introduce Duskbin as both teams are about to clash here. I'm not sure who... actually, I want to say that AEON has the edge at level 1. Shadow Demon, leshrac, Earthshaker. Yeah, their lineup is definitely a lot stronger. Great Crystal Nova to initiate, though, and Nuts in a lot of trouble. In fact, one immediate first blood being claimed by Duskbin, and it's not over yet, folks. Ken picks up one kill. He wants to get out. He is almost certainly going to go down here. Great fissure block if you're on the Radiant side. Actually trapping him in. 2 for 1, and they got the first blood, and I believe it was Ninja Boogie who got it. Yeah, Ninja Boogie got the first blood already. Sitting at 400 gold. He's looking for King. Even going to contest the rune. Great play by him. AEON had the better they had the better lineup in that situation, but only if the entire team engaged. I mean, if you're going to leave the Windrunner up top, you're going to only have 3 heroes in position, then suddenly it's a very bad fight for you. Duskbin took advantage. Great game sense by them. Questionable decision by AEON to fight. I like the fact that Riki took Cloud. That's definitely his best ability in that situation, but it is going to make him a little bit... It's going to make him struggle a little bit more. In terms of the lanes, it looks like we're going to see a dual roam here of the Lion and Crystal Maiden, at least to start. Maybe just going to tri-lane. Tri-lane on tri-lane. Expect a lot of action here. Duskbin has some great initiation. AEON a little bit more of a defensive lane, with the Shadow Demon be the only effective harasser. Earthshaker not going to be able to do any harassment, so the Shadow Demon is going to have a hard time up against a Lion, a Tiny, and a Crystal Maiden. If he gets even slightly out of position, he will just flat out die. Fissure not going to be on the right side, so Filet will be okay for now. The camp was not warded, and in the tri-lane on tri-lane, if you do not ward the full camp, you will just flat out lose the lane. At least if it's not warded and you don't stop them from pulling. Looks like Shabby's disruption start on him. Cloud by Ken, nice Cloud as well. Great fissure block. Shabby's is trapped by the disruption illusion, and Shabby's will go down. Fantastic play by AEON. And Lay gonna drop here as well. Indeed he will. Cast on the back foot. Well, folks, I said AEON at the defensive lane, but hey, if you hit fissures and disruptions like that, you're gonna be just fine. Cast will be able to get away, and in the end, AEON just getting 2 quick kills with no reply from Duskbin. So Duskbin, a nice start for them with that first blood and a follow-up kill, and then nothing since then. Well, we're gonna have a brief pause here in the bottom lane from the looks of it. In the action, nope, just kidding. Disruption to start. And that will be it for the moment. So let's see, how is our middle lane doing here? leshrac sitting on 7-0. And if we take a look at anti-mages, actually rotate into the middle lane. Ninja Boogie is not going to have a good time here. Leshrac is going for Edict as well as Split Earth. It's a level 2 Split Earth to make sure it's easier to hit. The AoE does increase significantly. So if you're Leshrac, you want to make sure you're able to hit that Split Earth 1v1. That is a good way to do it. He bottles a haste room. At best, Ninja Boogie can sort of sit in this lane and get some experience, maybe some last hits. What he won't be able to do is stop Leshrac from pushing down his tower, and with an Edict max right off the bat, Antimage is going to have a very tough time. Ninja Boogie will be okay for a little bit, but the tower is going to start taking Edict damage as soon as the lane gets pushed out. Look for the King to maybe get his boots up first. He's got the haste ring, so he can push if he wants to, and then go for that aggression. In the bottom lane, looks like Swamon looking for a fissure block here. Will he get it? No, he will not. Duskbin is able to get off that pulling, and so we should see the levels stabilizing a little bit in their favor. Ninja Boogie actually mana burning away everything from the King. If you're Leshrac, you really don't want to let Antimage do this. Looks like he didn't have enough mana to get off Edict, which is why Antimage was able to burn all his mana. He does have the haste turn, so he can bottle up. Disruption here. Looks like Nuts is going to back off, or will he? Nice Nova, preventing the Fissure from getting into a good position. Fissure block as well as Cloud, but it's on the wrong side. Very unfortunate. Shabs, however, is in some trouble. He's eating some backstabs here. Right-clicking coming out from Ken. One more. It will be enough for the kill, but now Ken is the one in a little bit of trouble. Toss to start. Will we send it back? No, he's not. God, that backstab hurts, and it's a level 2 backstab. Lay great juking in the trees, but it's just not enough. This tiny tri-lane is just falling apart. The Cloud, the Fissures have just been on point. Very potent combo. Cast. Nice avalanche there. He picks up 1 kill. Now he's running for his life. Riki with that level 1 Blink Strike and being out of mana. It's not very spammable at the early level, so he'll be okay. Ninja Boogie actually going to be getting this regen rune bot. If you're the King, you really got to be pressuring mid. Swamon walks right. A Blink will be coming off cooldown shortly. Earthshaker has no regen. Unless he suicides to the creeps. Nice job by the Earthshaker. Denying that Anti-Mage the gold. Important decision by him. A nice Blink onto the King. Ninja Boogie playing so aggressively and just crushing this lane. If he was level 6, the King would be dead. Fortunately, he's not. The Nova hits. Are we going to see a tower dive? No more bottle charges. There is a salve available, and Ninja Boogie wisely backs off. The Forgotten lane is this top lane, where Arjun is laning against Mr. Keo. Great shackle shot. The power shot not going to latch. Or, excuse me, not going to hit. Mr. Keo should have immediately canceled that as soon as he shot it. You don't have to channel power shot for the full duration. It would have allowed him to hit it. He's going to go for a kill here. The power shot not going to hit again. Nice dodging by by Arjun there. Still, if we take a look at that top lane, he's 18-8. Mr. Keo is 16-1. In a 1v1 situation, I actually give Queen a paint the edge just because Shadow Strike is such a potent ability for harassment. But with Earthshaker up top, he's going to be fine. Ninja Boogie, thanks to those early kills, of course, he's had the Ring of Health for a while. The question is, what will he go for? Will he rush a Battle Fury? Will he go for a quick Vanguard? Cloud by Ken, not the best Cloud actually. The first time it hasn't been on point, and that's because the Earthshaker isn't here. Actually, Ken in a lot of trouble. He's the Avalanche. He pops the wand. Will it be enough? Lay actually outright clicking him. Down he goes. Nuts pops his wand as well. Cast has the wand. He pops it. Toss as well. Wand's being popped everywhere. Double kill for a Tiny who desperately needed it. Hits level 6. This is the build that we've seen a lot of players going for recently. The reason that a lot of pros like to max Toss over Avalanche is because you can't count on hitting your Avalanche Toss combo. And the only way the Avalanche Toss combo does more damage with a Toss max first is if you're able to get the double Avalanche damage. And in order to do that, you have to walk up next to them. It's very difficult to do against a Riki with Smoke, against a Shadow Demon with Disruption, and of course Earthshaker with Fissure. That's why you see Sing Sing advocating this build. Getting your point in your ultimate as well allows you to get in those extra right clicks because of the move speed it gives you. It also makes Toss hit harder, and Toss is a low cooldown spell. So this build, if you're surprised by it, you should not be. This is the common and, I want to say, correct way to play Tiny in most situations, especially considering the situation. Ninja Boogie eats a Split Earth and a little bit of harassment. I gotta say the King is not winning this lane as much as he should be. He eats a Nova here, nice defensive Fissure. Ninja Boogie has the ult, he pops it, down goes the King.
Thou payest dearly.
Great play by Ninja Boogie and the Crystal Maiden, nice rotation by her. They are actually leaving the Tiny alone for the moment. He's got boots of the Arcane Boots up, and once Tiny has Arcane Boots, he can at least spam his nukes to get farm, as well as do a little bit of harassment. That being said, you don't want to let Riki farm without getting a trade-off, but right now Duskbin is getting that trade-off. Antimage 22 creeps, not a great creep score, but decent, especially considering the lane, and more importantly, 2-0-1 on the scoreboard. Looks like an initiation on the bottom lane. Nice job, disruption to start, smoke to follow, split earth to complete the kill, and Lion's the one who has to be careful now. Indeed, Shabs will back off. But King really wants this kill. He does not have phase. Oh my god, that edict! Look how hard that edict hits. That was only level 3 because he hit level 7 in that fight and then leveled it up. And man, that edict, only about 3 seconds of it, almost melts Lion to full HP. Lion actually died to the Riki. I didn't see him backstabbing there. He went for the courier as well, and he's not able to get it. Indeed, will he get it? The courier is in so much trouble. Ken just cutting it off now. It is absolutely flanked and trapped for the moment. Cast, TP's in. The courier gets out. If that courier died, that would have been a huge loss for the Radiant. Great play by AEON in this bottom lane. The trade-off is the anti-mage. But I don't like the way he's holding on to this 1600 gold, because that tells me that he either wants to go for a Battle Fury or a Hand of Midas. And if he goes for either of those items, I think he's going to have a real tough time in the middle lane, as Arshan actually gets pissed off by a Haster by that leshrac. So nice rotation by him. Just all sorts of kills happy this game. This is more the game I was expecting in game number 1. So much action and aggression by both teams. Of course, if you're leshrac, you got to be happy picking up a Haster, and one of the best thirds to have on that hero, because you can run next to enemies with that edict, ensure that you're doing maximum damage. Kill on the bottom lane. Oh my god, I cannot believe I'm missing all these kills. Holy crap! I'm sorry, guys. I will not miss any more. I promise you this. Cast. A crucial kill for him. He's got the arcane boots. He's got the magic wand, and now it's all a matter of getting that blink dagger. Once the Tiny has a blink dagger, you couple that with a Riki with Cloud, Earthshaker, Fissure. They have too much initiation. And they need some of their own to sort of answer back. The Dire have too much initiation, the Radiant need a little bit to answer back. If Tiny can get the jump on a lot of those heroes, they won't be as effective. Disruption to start, so Solutions will be Mana Burn. Great Impale, immediate blink out by Ninja Boogie. Nice defensive play here. He's up to 1900 gold. What is he saving for? I can't imagine anything that would be worth saving for that costs more than that. And is it going to be... No, it's going to be Power Charge and a completed wand. Not sure why he waited that long to spend his gold, but hey, he didn't die, so it's okay. If we take a look at the warding situation right now, only a lonely ward placed towards the bottom rune. Riki has crucially hit level 7, maxed backstab first. If you go for the max backstab first build, you kind of have to sit in lane until you hit level 10 or 11, because a level 1 blink strike, not very good for chasing. You either have to sit in lane or you need a lot of setup, which hey, he's got the setup. But it's hard to get solo kills simply because your blink strike with the 20-second cooldown, it's very difficult to lock a hero down. And they could usually outrun you. TP up top, a very defensive TP. They really want to sneak up on Arjun here. This is a big investment, not only TPing in, but walking this far. Looks like anti-mage taking some harassment in the middle lane. He will be okay. Ken heading in top. They have no detection. Oh, Duskbin about to lose 2 heroes if they're not in position. Ken spots off Arjun. He's about to find Shabs, who's not level 60 yet. Perfect Cloud, perfect Smoke. Or perfect Shackle as well. Shabs just melting to that backstab. Man, what an unfortunate situation. And this is the power of Riki against so many squishy heroes. If he gets the early levels, the early kills, he can just melt you. Whereas Anti-Mage, he takes a while to get going. Even with a decent start for Ninja Boogie, the farm is not really there. He's not getting... There's no early towers down. It's all resting in the hands of Cast. Once he gets that blink, it's going to be up to him to make something big happen. Because frankly, I don't see who else can. The Queen of Pain completely shut down at this stage of the game. Anti-Mage needs about 20 minutes of solid farm to be able to do too much. Lei being bullied back by the Anti-Mage. Illusions. Fissure actually not going to hit. Ken looking for this kill, but I don't think he's going to dive to tier 2. A nice hill ward being placed here by the Dire. It really forces Ninja Boogie to play extra passively, or it punishes him if he doesn't. Now, of course, he doesn't know about that ward, unless he saw the ward being placed, but he's still, you know, you got to be suspicious and generally careful when you're up against the Slade. Oh, Ken wanting to make a go here up top. He's going to go for Shabs, not even using the Cloud, which means he can go right onto Arjun if he wants to. For now, he will be backing off. I have not had a chance to do this, so let's take a look at the gold graph. Heavily in favor of AEON for this early on, especially considering there are no towers down. Ken, you cheeky little bastard. He fakes like he's running away, immediately comes back in. Arjun, very bold play. Honestly, you just can't do this against the Riki. Actually, the Fissure block, not the best. Arjun blinks out, but the Enchant Totem is there, and Ken with that blink still needing 15 seconds to pull down will not be able to complete the kill. Disruption from the Shadow Demon. Ninja Boogie just being harassed so hard. Even a support Shadow Demon can shut down an anti-mage in lane, and I find it interesting, and I like the fact that he's gone for Disruption max. If you've watched Shadow Demon played in pro games recently, it's very common for them to max the Shadow Poison for the extra damage. Of course, it does do a lot of damage, but against an anti-mage, you want to be able to disrupt him more often. Initiation on Sawaman, but he's going to be just fine. He eats the Hex. Will they really make a go on this? Those anti-mage illusions. Anti-mage is becoming his team's own worst enemy at this point. And Nuts has that disruption cooling down just a few seconds. A Blink Dagger finally picked up on Cast. Does not really have the mana for his full combo. He does have a wand that can be popped. Look for him to make a go, possibly on the Earthshaker mid. And once that first kill comes, expect them to keep on coming. The only real solution they're going to have is good positioning, good map awareness, and that Riki with some timely smoke left. Nova to start, Avalanche toss to follow. That is one dead Earthshaker. And the Radiant finally strike back. Meanwhile, they lose the bottom tower. Ken is farming it up top. Only sitting on 400 gold, but oh man, not only 400 gold. He's got a Blade of Alacrity. He's completed a Wraithband. And in fact, he's going to trade off a healing cell for that Blade of Alacrity. So now sitting on almost 80 agility. In fact, a little bit over 80 agility. So that's a lot of additional bonus backstab damage. And it's a backstab max. He is maxing up Blink Strike now. He went for 2 points in Smoke Cloud. A little bit interesting. It makes sense if you think about it like leshrac stun. The AoE scales nicely on smoke, so getting an extra point or two is pretty sensible. Courier in some trouble here. Shabs wants to make it go, but I don't know what he's thinking. This is just a flat-out feed. Anti-Mage comes in as well. Oh my god, that ult did a lot of damage. Mr. Kyo in trouble. Great rotation from Cast. Arjun even joins the party. And all this time, Ken is farming. Trying to get up that Diffusal Blade. I'm honestly not sure he needs it. This is the standard way we see Riki played, is he gets a couple kills, but he tries to get a good amount of farm in too. I feel like in this game, that Cloud is just so essential, as well as the raw damage, that they might be a little bit better off with him just participating in teamfights more. Maybe let the Windrunner or the leshrac get some extra farm, because without the Cloud, their heroes are quite squishy and easily picked off.
Invisibility.
Well, with a little bit of a lull here in the game, we'll take another look at the gold graph. 2 towers did drop, and so the gold difference has increased from 2,000 to 4,000. Still, I think you have to be pretty pleased with the stabilization of the game if you're Duskbin. Smoked by Lei. It's about to be dispelled, and then Lei will know what's up as invisible units can dispel smoke. Actually, Blink's done. Nice job by Shabs, and the ult even comes out. They have a Sentry Ward here for the Dire. Interesting, I guess they were trying to do some dewarding. TP's in from everyone. Big Echo Slam. Great blink by Ken. Shadow Purge, or Demonic Purge as well. 2 kills going back the way of AEON. AEON, really nice counter ganks, and this is the power of an Earthshaker. Man, I like that phrase a lot, don't I? Yeah, but Earthshaker, great counter ganks by him. Fissure, such a strong ability for counter ganking. Pulse Nova, doing a decent amount of damage to Ninja Boogie, but it's a level 2 spell shot. He's going to be okay. The King goes for the stun, is not going to hit. Finally, Arjun gets a kill. He is really struggling in this game. 1, 2, and 2. Not much farm to his name. 3 creeps per minute or so. But Nuts going up the high ground. No idea what he's thinking here. No idea what he's thinking here. Disruption to start, and Nuts in some trouble, and he will go down. Unfortunately, he disrupted himself instead of the anti-mage. The mid tower in a lot of trouble. Will Ken go for it? I think drop a cloud and do it, and indeed that's what he's doing. Nice job by Ken. The auto attack misses for the line, so he will not get the deny. But we saw the Blink Dagger got picked up on Tiny. What else does Duskbin have going their way? Anti-Mage has to have something, right? Still has not made a decision here on this Ring of Health. I think Ninja Boogie wants to go for that Battle Fury, and if I'm Ninja Boogie, I'm not sure I do that. Because Tiny's had a nice start, but once that Diffusal Blade comes up, Anti-Mage is, excuse me, Battle Fury is going to do nothing for you. Ken wants the Courier! He really wants the Courier! Oh man. Very dangerous, bold maneuver by him. Just, I guess, checking their inventories carefully, see that they don't have any detection. Only some Sentry Wards up on the Crystal Maiden. We haven't had much of a chance to talk about the way that Riki influences the game, but if you think about Riki, he's very similar to a hero like Pudge, in that having a Riki in the game, even if he does nothing, aside from get a couple of kills early, completely changes the way you play. Not only do you have to buy Sentry Wards, you have to be very cautious about ever running by yourself. And if Riki's farming during this time, well, hey, he's getting gold. And if he's not farming, he's forcing you to stay back. He's off the map. You have to be very cautious. So it's like a pudge. You never know where that hook's going to come from. And when it does, it can be absolutely devastating. I believe the smoke was spotted by this ward by the Radiant. We'll have to see. It looks like Ninja Boogie going to be heading back. He is going for Battle Fury. If you're going to go Battle Fury, I think the Burning build is the correct choice here. Because you need every last ounce of HP you can get to survive in this game. A lot of burst damage, a lot of nukes up for AEON. Ward placed by Nuts. The smoke gank is revealed. Disruption to start. Great impale there. Oh, big blink in from Arjun doing a lot of damage. The mechanism doing some work too. Cast joins the party. That avalanche toss hitting 3 heroes. Echo Slam only on 1. Suwama not the best Echo, and I think Duskbin is going to clean this one up. Great play. Great impale by the line to start, and an even better avalanche toss to follow. 4 for 1, and leshrac was farming. If you're going to force a team fight, you have to have all your guns brought to the fight if you're AEON. You need every last ounce of burst damage. Even with the mechanism, which I believe was picked up on the windrunner, it just was not enough. Well, speaking of that mechanism, let's see what other items have been purchased this game. So far, leshrac, it might be a BKB rush. I'm guessing that's what it will be. A BKB is very strong against the Radiant lineup. In fact, they have no answer for it. Antimage is some decent right-click, but a lot of his damage comes from Mana Burn, which is blocked by BKB. So it's a smart, sensible choice. Of course, if you get a chain initiated on and chain's done, you're not going to be able to do anything about it. In terms of other item pickups, Diffusal Blade, how did I miss that? Is up on the Riki. I don't think he had it in the last fight. If he did, he didn't have a chance to use it as he has 8 charges. But Riki with a Diffusal Blade going straight for Ninja Boogie, and Ninja Boogie may live to regret the day that he went for this quick Battle Fury build. He's only 300 gold away. This is a very important time for him to be farming and not dying. Dying will not only delay that Battle Fury by quite a bit by losing gold, it's also going to slow him down, and indeed he is going to go down here to the Riki. He's oh no, he's not! Great blink away, immediate TP out. Ken thought he had that last auto attack in queue, and he did not. Man, that's unfortunate. Hey, that's a level 2 smoke cloud for you, just not a big enough AoE. Oh, he still has a very lucky Ninja Boogie. I played Riki yesterday, and I don't know if any of you guys in the stream have experienced this, but I think his Blink Strike is bugged, because every time I use Blink Strike, then it does the 120 backstab damage immediately, but the auto attack does not proc automatically. I'm not sure if that's happening for Ken, but that may explain why you didn't get the kill there. I think with that actual auto attack from the Blink Strike processing, it would have been enough. So whether it's a bug or just a little bit slow reactions or bad luck by Ken, whatever it was, Antimage lived. That means that he has Battle Fury now. With the Battle Fury up, he can safely farm in the jungle. He is still food if he gets caught out. Speaking of food, Arjun Shackle Shot not gonna latch. Nice blink away. Duskbin is just barely escaping all of these ganks. Ken looking for an opportunity here to go in, but Ninja Boogie revealing the fact that they have a Sentry Ward there will be okay. A lot of wards being placed all around. You can just see by the way the Duskbin is positioning, they don't really feel safe leaving like approximately this area of the map. If they want to do so, they have to add Sentry Wards, and that gives them a little bit of extra maneuverability. It's a very expensive investment. As a result, Crystal Maiden has pretty much nothing, and more importantly, Lion has nothing. Lion normally is a hero you want to get a quick Blink Dagger on Force Staff, Ghost Scepter, something to help him initiate or survive, because if Lion gets the jump on the enemy team, he can be devastated with that Blink Hex. Shutting down heroes like leshrac and Riki quite hard. Nice smoke gank here is spotted by the Sentry Ward. How attentive is Ninja Boogie is the question. Not very from the looks of it. He's not checking the minimap. Or he's not looking at the screen where the Sentry Ward is. A lot of pings coming out. AEON trying to do some scouting here with Power Shot. It's a ping party here for both teams, and I believe Arjun will be blink out momentarily. Indeed, he does. These ganks just not working out at all for AEON. Very unfortunate for them. Meanwhile, Cast has gotten a lot of farm during this time. I think he's the Mars farmed hero on the team. 376 gold per minute, HP of 342. Compare that to AEON. Great farm, and it's because all of AEON's ganks are just flat out failing. Split push from Duskbin. Nice job by them. Ninja Boogie picks up tower in one direction. Cast picks it up on the other side of the map, and Ken has been rendered completely ineffective. This is very unusual to see a team with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 6 ways to disable a TP scroll, plus a Riki with a quick defusal. Just not getting it done here in the mid game at all. The smoke ganks have failed. You have to credit Duskbin's warding, more importantly their map sense, and frankly a little bit of luck sprinkled in here or there. Because this Queen of Pain has been living by the skin of their teeth, and I love this item pickup. Going for the quick Ghost Scepter. Sure, you're up against a ton of nukes, and the Ghost Scepter will not help you against the Fissure, the Shackle Shot, the Power Shot. But if you, the main thing you're scared of right now is that single hero, maybe 2 hero gank from the Riki, and Ghost Scepter will allow you to mitigate most of his damage. The other option is a Force Staff, and it's a little bit more expensive. It doesn't give you any extra HP, but what Force Staff allows you to do is also save your allies if you need to. Also gives your Lion a little bit of a way to initiate. So I don't mind at all. I don't mind at all the Ghost Scepter. I think it's a great choice. Force Staff would be the next pickup I'd like to see on whoever can afford it, whether it's Lion, whether it's Crystal Maiden. Another way they have to initiate is for that Tiny to just flat out toss his teammates in. Oh, and of course he has a Force Staff earlier. I did mention that before. Looks like Cast is going for an Aghanims here. So they're going for a bit of a dual carry strat. It could be a BKB, actually. They don't really need more damage, but hey, if you want to have that backup carry, then Tiny is certainly an option in that respect. Blink Dagger pickup on an Earthshaker. 23 minutes in, not bad farm at all for him. Duskbin supports are very underfarmed, which normally means they'd be total food for AEON's lineup, but AEON just has not been able to find the openings. And now with these 3 towers down, of course, I mentioned that the tier 1 on bottom and top just went down pretty recently. That's going to make it a lot harder to set up ganks, simply because you have to travel further from these towers to get to places where you can set up ganks. If you compare it to this travel distance, it's a lot easier. Ken is looking for an opening on these illusions, but the illusion's not going to get any gold for that. Ninja Boogie with the Battle Fury is going straight for a BKB. If he gets that BKB up, the Cloud will not affect him. For anyone who's not familiar with Cloud mechanics, BKB removes the silence. It also means that your attacks don't miss, so a 2-fold way to deal with that Riki. It's also going to stop everything else on the dire side. The only thing that goes through is Demonic Purge, and that's only a slow. The damage will not go through. And Antimage can still blink, so that's a nice pickup for him. He won't be able to be disrupted while the BKB is up. He is a ways away. But Duskbin is going for a tower trade against AEON. Hey, if AEON will give it to them, I think it's a fine trade. The later this game goes, the longer it goes, the more it will favor Duskbin. Thanks to that anti-mage. Also thanks to the fact that, frankly, AEON's core here is not that far. Blink Strike, Blink in an immediate shackle. That was some weird mechanics there. Earthshaker blinks it as well. Argent in trouble. This is not a good fight. The tower dies top in the middle of this. Disruption on Ninja Boogie. He wants that BKB. He does not have yet. Immediate blink out. Splitter was not timed properly. Great impale from the back here, but I'm not sure this fight is a good one. Indeed, Duskbin is just flat out beating 2 supports dying for nothing. Not sure what they were thinking. They could have just walked back. Either that way or just back that way. That was a very bold maneuver by them. Swap on aggressive blink in. Well, Duskbin throwing the game a little bit more than AEON winning it, but hey, if you're AEON, you will definitely take those kills. Edict popped on the tower, just melting the tower down. If you get behind a leshrac, if you lose a fight to a leshrac, you are going to pay with towers.
Bottom tower has fallen. Dire's top tower is under attack.
So, after another couple engagements, the gold graph very even. But at this stage of the game, the gold is simply going to be a bit more useful on AEON. Once the BKB is up on the anti-mage, and Tiny might actually be going, I think he is going for BKB. Once those 2 BKBs are up, suddenly the gold difference will be a lot more significant. At this stage of the game, without BKBs, these 2 heroes are going to have a hard time contributing. Tiny can blink in and use his combo, and that's it. Anti-mage, once he gets silenced, once he gets shackled or otherwise stunned or disrupted, he pretty much has to run. Once the BKBs are up, it is a totally different story. Speaking of item progression, Argent is 2,500 gold in the bank, and I have not looked at the diary in quite a while. BKB up on leshrac, huge pickup. This is a game where BKB is the solution to pretty much all of your problems. While it's up, the heroes that have it will be more or less invulnerable. Once it's down, they're going to have a tough time. Nice aggressive wards being placed here by AEON. I like the way they're thinking. They want to restrict Duskbin as much as possible in their base. Now, the problem is, that Duskbin has a lot of push power. They have a Quap who can push effectively, a Tiny who can push effectively, an antimage who can push effectively. 3 very mobile heroes. Heroes that have not only mobility with their blinks, but also a lot of AoE. The Battle Fury, of course, cleaving. As AEON is going for Roshan, and I believe they're going to get it without too much of a fight. Question is, who will they give it to? I'm guessing leshrac will be the choice. It could be the Riki as well. Speaking of that Riki, he's got something big on the curve. I'm guessing BKB. Indeed, it is BKB. A nice pickup for him. And with BKB's up pretty much all around, Anti-Mage, I believe, is having his flown out now. Indeed, he is. Tiny is crucially not going to have his up. So BKB just used? I thought I heard one be used. Guess that's just my imagination. Arshin going for one as well. This is the era of the BKB, guys. The dawn of a new era of Dota. Cue dramatic music. Force Staff is up on the Windrunner. Mechanism, of course, that's been up for a long time. Aside from that, no, not too much elsewhere in terms of big item pickups. So AEON has their core items. Right, they've got their BKBs up, they've got the Diffusal on the Riki, they've got Force Staff and Mech on the Windrunner. Where do they go from here? You can't just farm all game, you can't try to trade towers unless you're trading it for base towers for outer towers. The previous trades really did not work out too much in their favor. They need to go for high ground soon, and how they do it is the question. Do they go for a pickoff? Do they simply try to push? Pushing is dangerous, but you do have a Riki with an Aegis, as well as a BKB. Ken eats an avalanche toss.
Oh, thanks.
Excuse me, just an avalanche. The creep wave is melted. Ninja Boogie doing the very smart thing here, pushing out the top lane. Delay. The best way to stop this kind of push is not only to push down or kill the creep wave off mid, but more importantly to just pressure that top lane. And you can see frantic pings by the Lion directing traffic here. Ken blink in. It's pretty much an Aegis for nothing, or it would be if the disruption wasn't there. Nice disruption. Riki actually blinks into the middle of everything, pops the BKB, and he's gonna die. Oh, I don't know about that BKB usage. He was very low, and now he won't have it when he respawns. Avalanche toss could be in the world of trouble for him. Avalanche was on quota for just a second there. Anti-Mage forced back a single TP. Avalanche toss on 2. Great job, Queen of Pain ult as well. So much damage coming out for Duskbin. The fight continues, and great damage coming out in the other direction by AEON. BKB on the King is gonna force them back. 2 for nil right now, actually. Did someone buy back? Earthshaker did buy back. So it was a 2 for 1 from the looks of it. Anti-Mage forced back the Shadow Demon, so that is going to slow down the pushing ambitions here. But leshrac is pressuring down the tower. Big avalanche toss, impale as well. Everything in the kitchen sink being thrown at him. Great Force Staff away. Ken might be in trouble. Blink in, Scream of Pain. Arshin actually might be in trouble. Ninja Boogie joins the fight. Arshin lives, gets the kill, and down goes the Riki. A big kill. Riki dying, losing the Aegis. I'm not sure that's really worth it. Echo Slam. Everyone going balls deep here for both teams. Anti-Mage comes in, and that's a dead Earthshaker. The overextended, he will pay. Ninja Boogie, 1900 gold in the bank. Let's sort of inventory what was traded there. A Crystal Maiden died, I believe a Lion died and came back to life. A Tiny died. But you fed the Anti-Mage, you got a base tower if you're AEON. You lost your Earthshaker, you lost your Riki and the Aegis, you lost your leshrac. I guess Shadow Demon got a little farm top, and he's used that to pick up a Force Staff. I want to say it's an even trade. Yep, pretty even, but I think slightly in favor of Duskbin, because even with the Aegis, AEON was not able to take racks. And now they have to wait another 8 minutes or so, or I believe it's a little bit less. Yeah, 7 minutes. In order for the next Aegis. And with an Aegis, they weren't able to take racks, so I'm not sure that there's much of a chance of doing it without. They also used the Earthshaker ult. That's going to really delay any ambitions of pushing for the moment. During that 8 minutes, Ninja Boogie will be frantically farming. He's got the BKB. It's still at a 9-second duration. Very healthy. That's something important to keep an eye on, is the BKB durations. Once they get low, then heroes can be picked off in fights. Queen of Pain is at 10. leshrac used his, he's at 9. Riki used his, he's at 9. But yeah, the turning point of that fight was Ken popped his BKB right before dying. He also dove way ahead of his team, and Shadow Demon left the fight. He had already used Disruption defensively anyway. Overextension by Ken. Either it was miscommunication on the team's part, or Ken just made a mistake there. It cost them big, but AEON apparently not afraid not to be stymied by that failed push, is going to go for it again. This time they're going to play a little bit more safe and go for the top tier too. If they knock down that outer tower, it will help, but this is not a crucial tower by any means. And during this time, Ninja Boogie doing what an anti-mage with Battle Fury does best, pushing down that bottom tower.
Is under attack.
One TP is forced back. Shadow Demon gonna probably disrupt him and then just run the hell away immediately. Yep, does force the anti-mage to blink back. This is a very unique situation. For anyone who hasn't seen it before, you will never see a support be able to TP into a tower like that and defend it by himself against a fed carry like this anti-mage is. This is the lone exception, is a Shadow Demon against an anti-mage. Because he could disrupt, and then anti-mage's illusions will actually just out-damage the anti-mage. It'll kill him faster than the Shadow Demon can. Or than he can kill the Shadow Demon. And at the very worst, it does enough damage that a second TP will clean him up. Anyway, let's take another look at the gold graph. 2,500 gold is the difference in terms of XP. Slightly in favor of the Radiant. Not too meaningful at this stage of the game, though. Not too many big items being picked up. Oh, big fight break out here. Ninja Boogie pops that BKB, and you can see he is not missing any of his auto attacks, even inside of the cloud. BKB popped an Arshan as well. Nuts is in trouble. He's already, actually, he's got disruption if he needs a 4-step on the high ground. Nice job by him. Cascat comes in. Huge avalanche toss to it. A lot of damage. Ken goes down, and that is a real problem for Duskbin. Leshrac, though. Oh my god, this leshrac is pretty big. Almost as big as Tiny Ninja Boogie. That was really greedy, buddy. I don't know about that choice. He pops the wad. He's going to get away. At least I think he is. Mr. Keo 4-step in, but unfortunately misclicks, and now Mr. Keo is probably going to go down here. Dice toss back into the tower. Mr. Keo going to run the other way. Cue the Benny Hill music, folks, because I think he's about to escape. Mr. Nuts disrupts on the Tiny there. In the end, Ninja Boogie goes down. Oh my god! That was a huge loss, that disruption. Double kill for the Shadow Demon. Those illusions doing work. In the end, I believe it was a 3-for-3 trade. Nuts is clearly the MVP of this game, single-handedly keeping his team in it. King had a nice BKB ult there, did a lot of damage to Pulse Nova. But goddamn, that Shadow Demon. They don't call him the best anti-carry in the game for nothing, folks. Outside of maybe Panda, but Panda needs farm. And Shadow Demon really does not. What big plays. Oh my god. And let's see how that's reflected in our gold graph. It is dipping the way of the Radiant, in spite of Shadow Demon's fantastic performance. Not enough to keep the team entirely in this game. But it's something. I want to actually see how much gold each hero has, because that'll give us a sense of who's getting close to what. Anti-Mage, 2,800 gold in the bank. It'll be a mad style, I mean, let's be honest, that's just what Anti-Mage builds. 2,900 for the Windrunner. I'm guessing this will be a Hex. The question for me is it really worth going for Hex? Because you're not going to finish it before Anti-Mage gets at least one, maybe two more items. Plus, there's a lot of BKBs in the game already. This may be a situation where you go for something a little bit unorthodox. Maybe an Assault Cuirass. Maybe... well, probably not a Vlad's, but maybe a Vlad's, maybe a Necronomicon 3, a Ghost Scepter, a Yule's. I think something like that, which you can buy now, will be a lot more effective than trying to farm a Hex, because by the time you farm that Hex, Tiny's probably going to have an Aghanims, Anti-Mage will have at least a Manta, maybe a Vitality Booster as well. And it's going to be tough, but AEON, not to be disheartened by losing another team fight, or best breaking even, will be going for another push mid. Duskbin has some good counter push, Nova being spammed, and King is smoked up. This is a very odd place to be smoked up, standing on the low ground with no vision. We're going to need to see some TPs back here by Duskbin. They've got Glyph, they're hanging onto it. This is a bit of a bait here by Duskbin. Just some nukes coming out, trying to push down the wave. And the tower, the Rack's taking a lot of damage. Anti-Mage, are they really going to go for a tower trade? Big avalanche toss on 3, huge Queen of Pain ult. The BKBs are popped in time though. Great play by them, and nobody's really doing anything except for Riki, who's hitting quite hard. Demonic Purge shutting down that Tiny. Anti-Mage is very late to the fight. Immediately locked down and disrupted by Nuts. Wow, Nuts is playing so well right now. Bad Anti-Mage ult, not doing anything in that fight. Unfortunately, that hero had too much mana. Arjun going in on Nuts. Nice toss in. Nuts has disruption, 3 seconds. Very difficult to lock him down. The King maybe turning this round. Flick in by Earthshaker, but unfortunately, Anti-Mage was disrupted, so it did not hit him. He's out of mana, and he's forced back. He pops the wand. He really wants this kill on Nuts. During this time, the melee Rex went down. Swamon looking to TP out. Nice frostbite. I don't know. You tell me, guys, 4 heroes for melee Rex, was it worth it? Well, if they get the Roshan, maybe not. And the Roshan gonna be up in, what is that, just about 30 seconds to maybe a minute. Probably about 45 seconds or so. It's hard to say. I think Duskbin's best bet is to continue pushing mid until this respawns. Of course, they don't see the timer, but they should have written it down. After yet another big fight, Goldgraph almost dead even. Man, this is what I was hoping for in the first Best Auto one, was a really back and forth exciting match like this. 56 kills, 37 minutes in, and it is not over yet. Duskbin thought about Roshan. I think this is the smart choice. Roshan was not up. And even if it was, you know, you're getting the tier 2 mid, you're probably going to get the tier 2 bottom as well. Shackle shot on Ninja Boogie. Well, it's not good if he dies. Blink to start. Defusal to follow. He's silenced as well. I think there's an... Or sorry, that is actually just the cloud. But he pops the BKB. He'll be okay for now. Ninja Boogie thought about going in, actually. Are they going to make a go and Ken? This is a bad time for Duskbin to fight. I say let the Crystal Maiden die. Sacrifice your losses and get out. And indeed, that is the plan. Meanwhile, Queen of Pain doing a little bit of pushing on the bottom lane. And Arjun, has he gone for Manta? No, he just had an illusion ring. Crystal Maiden did die. Not a big loss at all. A lot of Southeast Asian teams, and I'm going to call Mineski out for this. I've seen them so many times in a situation just like the one Duskbin was in. You're going to lose one hero, but you think maybe you can turn it around. They try and help that support and they end up losing their entire team and losing the game off it. Now, there are other teams that have done it. So if you're a Mineski fan, I'm not picking on them. They're just a very, you know, sort of... They stand out as an example of it. But I like the fact that Duskbin just cut their losses there, got the hell out. They are down a melee Rex, now they're going to be down an Aegis as well. And Ken, with the defusal of Vlad's and the BKB, he's looking pretty big.
Has fallen to the dire.
Very tanky, very sustainable. The Vlad's not only going to help him survive in the fight, also going to do a lot to let them push a little bit harder. That armor are so nice to sort of slow down the anti-mage's ability to clear out the creep wave. Of course, the nukes will not be too concerned about it. But hey, it's a little bit more, every little bit helps with when you're talking about pushing down towers. Looks like Lion wants a 4-step. These supports on Duskbin are really underfarmed. Windrunner has a lot of items. Shadow Demon already with his 4-step and a drum. That is the difference right now. If you look at the two teams, the carries are pretty evenly matched. Ninja Boogie, very healthy items. BKB, Battle Fury Vlad's, and I assume a decent amount of gold. Oh my god, 4,700 gold! I did not... I knew he was farmed, but where the hell did that come from? I think it was 4 or 5 minutes ago I checked him, he had 2,500 and no Vlads. So he's got... Like, he must have had some of the components on the courier, because there's no way he farmed 5,000 gold in 3 minutes. Even ZSMJ has not done that. But either way, he is getting big. What do you go for here? I'm guessing it'll be the Manta. But is that the solution? You have a BKB already. Maybe you just go for raw damage at this stage of the game. Maybe go for a butterfly, a battle, or not a battle fury, an MKB. Something just to let your main hero hit a little bit harder. Of course, the BKB charges are winding down a little bit, so it wouldn't surprise me. Nor should it ever surprise anyone if Antimage gets a Manta style. Top tower is the final remaining exterior tower in the game, and it looks like it will be going down shortly. And is rotating their way over towards that tower. While Ninja Boogie pressures bottom, if he pops the BKB, he could make it go nuts. Instead, he's going to be forced back, most likely. Indeed, he will be monoburred by his own illusion. As soon as those die, he could look to go back in, and I think that's the plan here. If they get a pick on Shadow Demon, that's going to force more TPs back and slow down the push top.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
They're not going to get it. And indeed, the disruption, just what a cheeky way to shut down this push. Normally, if Anti-Mage Battle Fury can just absolutely murder a tower. Ninja Boogie blinks right in the middle of everything, BKB wars, and it looks like Riki does not want any part of that fight. Ninja Boogie, he's out of BKB, he needs to back off, he's still fighting creeps here. Questionable decision, he eats a Hex from the leshrac. Oh, he does manage to get 4-stepped away, good job by him. BKB on the Tiny in the middle of everything. Anti-Mage comes back in, big ult by Arjun, bigger ult by the Earthshaker. Will it be enough is the question. Oh, the Aegis respawns on the... on the Riki, but he's immediately... Oh, actually, he gets the kill of Ninja Boogie. Swamp on Enchant Totem's nothing because he got tossed. Ken, very indecisive in terms of his target selection. He goes down. Meanwhile, mid is pushing down. A triple kill going the way of Arjun. This is the strength of their lineup, and Sawaman will be the final hero to eat the dust. Oh, boy. Tiny's having a good chuckle, and you got to feel good if you're Duskbin. They defended the base tower. They defended the Rex, they cleared out the Aegis, they got 4 kills, I think they only lost the Crystal Maiden. Oh, actually, Antimage bought back, but it was totally worth it. He's still got an ultimate orb, another 1,500 gold to his name. And they have a Tiny with an Aghanim's about to come online. One more Wand team fight, or maybe just a Roshan with Aegis Cheese. You Tiny with Aghanim's, Anti-Mage with Manta and Battle Fury, plus the Vlads. You can just you can siege out the Rex very easily with the Tiny. You have the BKB charges, you can simply pop the BKBs, right-click the Rex, and then get out when they're about to expire. And then do it all over again once they cool down. So Duskbin is looking very comfortable. I expect the gold graph will be reflecting that. Yeah, it's slight edge for the Radiant. But you gotta keep in mind, at this stage of the game, the Radiant heroes simply scale a little bit better with Farm. Anti-Mage carries a little bit harder than Riki. Lion, as far as supports go, one of the very best late game supports because he's got that Hex, he's got Impale, very strong disables, Tiny, so much right click power, great initiation from him, and of course Queen of Pain with a Hex and a BKB, great initiation, great mobility. That's really the strength of this Radiant lineup, is their raw mobility. Blinks on all three of their core heroes, 4 staff on the line, even the Crystal Maiden has aspirations, I'm sure, for one. The King disconnects from the game. Oh boy. And my water has expired, so as Ninja Boogie disconnects as well, I am going to run straight to the bathroom, grab some water. I'll be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere. This game is not over yet. AEON is still in it. Oh boy. Alright, so let's take a look at items while we have a second here. I don't believe the players have reconnected yet. Windrunner going for the Hex. Well, she is getting close. That's going to be 2 Hexes going their way. I think this will be a Basher from Ken. It's possible it could be an MKB. But really what AEON needs right now is just a little bit more disable. We saw they were able to do a good amount of damage to really everyone. The right click was strong. One of the best ways to deal with an anti-mage is to just lock him down. Don't let him pop the Manta. Don't let him pop the BKB. With double Hex, as well as all their disables, as well as a Riki with Basher, one lucky bash could mean the death of this anti-mage. So I like that choice. Tiny has has picked up his Aghanim's. In terms of any other big items, really nothing too much to report. Yeah, Windrunner actually has the Hex now, so that's going to be a big pickup for them. In terms of gold per minute, in case you're curious who's farming and how well they're doing. Anti-Mage leading the way by quite a bit, but you have to keep in mind that gold per minute is misleading because he's bought back quite a few times. As I take this opportunity to eat some delicious, delicious blueberries. I hope you guys don't hear me chewing, and if you do, that you don't mind. Where's Mr. Swish right now? I asked the same question after game number 1. Someone posted this interview. I'm not familiar with the translator or anything like that, but it seems pretty legit. He basically said he wanted to play with his personal friends more than anything, even though he thought Duskbin could go very far. For anyone who doesn't know, AEON and Duskbin are both in the International 2 East qualifiers. So, depending on... I mean, going into that tournament, if... Let's say AEON takes this game by some, you know, some great... Well, not comeback, but... Let's say they're able to seal the deal and take this game, and they match up against Duskbin at some stage of that tournament. You gotta figure that might be in Duskbin's head a little bit, maybe give AEON a little bit of a psychological advantage. So not only is this a great preview, but it may have sort of mental implications. If you're into all like mind game theories and you know think that psychology plays a big role in competitive stuff, which I mean, hey, it's something to talk about whether you agree with it or not. Then this game could matter for AEON. Just winning 2 is important for them, also because Duskbin did beat them at a recent tournament. I actually wrote down what it was. It was the E-Club, the Evolution Challenge in Singapore. So coming into the series, Duskbin had the advantage in the head-to-head matchup in Dota 2. But AEON striking back a little bit in the first best out of one. Maybe they'll be able to do it again in the second. This tournament is the Prodota 2 World League. For more information about that, you can go to prodota2.com and check that out. While we're waiting here, I will tell you guys a little bit about myself, since I'm guessing a lot of you probably haven't heard of me. I am LD. I'm a staff commentator for dotacommentaries.com. You may have heard me casting primarily with Luminous, and I think I've cast once with B-Balling, who are both members of dotacommentaries.com as well. I've been casting for the Premier League as well as Pro Dota 2. If you haven't heard of me already, I hope you guys enjoy the cast. Feel free to send me feedback, either here, on my YouTube channel. You can PM me or just write a comment. Anything like that. I always love to hear your guys' thoughts, and I hope you're enjoying the cast. If you do enjoy what you're hearing and you want more, please subscribe and support me. It's twitch.tv/LDdota, and the same for youtube.com, twitter.com, and facebook.com. With all that being said, it looks like we should be ready to unpause here any second now. Duskbin just making sure that they're all loaded into the game. The unpause comes out. And we're back in business, folks, so. Ninja Boogie just gonna be getting some more creeps. Hey, that's what Antimage does. Scythe of Vice, of course, I mentioned this during the intermission. It was finished on Windrunner, and indeed she picks it up now. Ken, about 800 gold away from that basher. A little bit less, I think. I want to say it's like 600 gold away. Looks like Earthshaker is getting close to a 4-staff. So again, I mentioned this before, I want to reiterate. Ooh, AEON spotted by the Sentry Ward. If they're watching the map, I don't see any pings. And you guys have seen just how much Duskbin loves to ping. So I don't think the smoke gank was spotted. And oh man, if Arjun goes down here, that could be devastating. I don't think he has enough to buy back now. Yeah, he's got 388 reliable gold, and he needs all of his gold to buy back. In fact, a huge Echo Slam to initiate. BKB gets popped immediately, and Ninja Boogie, that blink might have been a second or two premature. Bashes on Arjun. Or no, not bashes, actually. He's just getting stunned up there. Ninja Boogie turning around. Cast finally joins the party. A lot of damage coming out. Big Crystal Maiden in the middle of everything. The Kane with his BKB up as well. Pulse Nova doing what it can. Great shackle shot right as that BKB ends. Ninja Boogie in some trouble here. Cast. Bleeds up that leshrac, and I think it's just gotten too late for AEON. The Riki is not able to survive in these team fights. Tiny with his big stick. Call him Theodore Roosevelt because he may talk quietly, but he's got a big stick, and he's going to bring the pain. Nuts trying for some TP cheese. Immediately thinks better of it, and instead decides to go down. Mr. Keo backs off, and that may just be game. It's hard to say right now, but it is going to be tough. And I mentioned this earlier. If you lose a big fight to a Tiny with an Aghanim's, an Anti-Mage with a Battle Fury, and a Manta Style, and a Vlad's, your towers are going to melt, and Cast is not done yet. He's going to make a go at Mr. Keo. Avalanche to start. Toss actually, unfortunately, going onto the creep. Blinking from Quaff, not in range. The tower will go down quickly. And does have the glyph, but they are nowhere near being able to respawn. But I don't think they buy back. 50 pings coming out. Oh man, somebody needs to give their mouse a breather here. I believe it's the Crystal Maiden. But at this stage of the game, all you can really do is ping. And hey, it's a Tiny with an Aghanim's. It's an Anti-Mage with a Manta Style, and the cracks are just melting now. They get the mid tower, and interestingly, they back off. I think they could have gone a second or two longer there. Fissure on Arjun at extreme range. Hex to follow. Will they get this kill? Blink for the oh, Ghost Scepter. Nice job by him. Pops the BKB. But Arjun can simply blink out, and another BKB charge wasted by the Riki. It's now down to 5 seconds. Queen of Pains is getting low as well. Tiny's, I assume, is quite low. 6 seconds. Anti-Mage, I think he's got 1 or 2 more charges on. No, he's down to 5 too. Everyone's BKB is low. At this point, after buyback, I want to say the next most important thing is to consider rebuying your BKBs. Especially if you're on the Dire squad, because this Anti-Mage is hitting so hard right now.
A gift from the earth.
Well, it's that time of the game where we check the gold graph again because we just had a big fight and a bunch of racks went down. And hey, it's heavily in favor of the Radiant. For all those who care about the XP graph, there you go. Very heavily in favor of the Radiant. Item progression. Nothing too much. I think this is a level 2 defusal. No, it's not. Oh. He's actually got the basher, so he's opting not to get more charges in the defusal. Now, BKB does remove the purge from defusal, and also you cannot purge someone while they're BKB'd. So, you might argue that it's not really worth refilling it. I mean, I think it is. You can still lock down the Crystal Maiden and, more importantly, the Lion very quickly. No, for anyone who's wondering, when you rebuy BKB, you have to sell the entire item and then rebuy it. You can't just buy the recipe. BKB would be too good if you could do that. Yep, Ken has almost got that basher. Oh, Ninja Boogie! Dangerous place to blink! Immediate! I guess he does have a basher. How did he stun him there? Oh yeah, basher was just completed, but Ken is gonna play. It's the Finger of Death. Will we see a Quap ult as well? Sentry Ward is dropped, but too late. BKB off on Ken. This could be a huge turnaround. Ninja Boogie in the middle of everything though, doing a lot of damage. That man stuff. Oh my god, that anti-mage Mana Void murdering 2 heroes. Riki goes down. leshrac goes down. There's all of the damage if you're AEON, and that should be game. Even if they have buyback, it would not matter. Riki, no buyback. leshrac, no buyback. In fact, are they done yet? Nuts looking to go in. Disruption. Nuts, he played such a strong game, but it just looks like it wasn't enough in the end. Toss, as well as some more nuke damage coming out. Nuts goes down, and hey, he tried so hard. He had that amazing engagement top where he killed 2 heroes with his disruption alert. But it just wasn't enough. You let the game go 50 minutes against the Battle Fury Anti-Mage, you are probably going to lose. Chance of losing around 90% or so. I'm pulling that number out of my ass, but it is quite high. And indeed, Mega Creeps are up. Time for AEON to type out, whether they do or not. No glyph, they will simply lose their Rex before they can even respawn. So, game 1. A pretty convincing one-sided affair in favor of AEON. I saw some of you guys really criticizing Duskbin's drafting. You know, really saying that Ninja Boogie had work to do as a captain, but hey, he proved you haters wrong at least this game. Of course, AEON made some mistakes, and Riki is very strong versus the anti-mage, but you gotta give Duskbin credit. They delivered. Throne about to die here. If the anti-mage just goes for it, pops the BKB, a few more right clicks will do it. Just kill the damn throne, man. No, gotta get 1 or 2 more kills. This is Southeast Asia. Game's not over until the throne dies. Great win by Duskbin, so I believe they're leading the overall head-to-head series versus AEON. Nonetheless, AEON showed they have what it takes to beat Duskbin. For anyone just joining me, I am LD. I am a staff commentator for dotacommentaries.com. I really hope you guys enjoyed the cast. For now, that's going to do it. Duskbin lost game number 1. AEON took that in convincing fashion, and the second best out of 1. Duskbin strikes back, and they take it. So, thanks for tuning in.